are, but
Tell her to sit over here.
It's very hard to hear him when you're on the
Sit
phone.
over here. Tell her to sit over here.
oh, Joanne. Hi, how are you? And then
It became incognito.
I don't even have a mic.
It became incognito, Joey.
I don't have a mic, not that I'm gonna say anything.
Sometimes you don't hear anything.
John, tap yours.
His works are
You're
right.
you're live. You're live.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll call this Board of Aldermen Special Budget Workshop agenda order, meeting agenda, et cetera, whatever it is. Would you kindly stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's call the roll. First ward, Anthony Simonetti.
Present.
David Gidwani. Second ward, Eric McPherson.
Present.
Joanna Carloni.
Present.
Third ward, Chris Balmacy.
Here.
John Anglace, present. Fourth ward, Bernie Simons. Bernie Simons. Noreen McGordy. Noreen McGordy. This might explain that Noreen has a death in the family and not here for that reason. All right.
Excuse me, John, can you double check, make sure your mic's on? I think it is.
Yeah.
Tap it.
The button should be up.
It looks up.
My
Yeah,
mic,
it is
my
on.
mic is on.
Okay, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
I blew into it before.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll start this budget workshop off with some organizational comments. I've scheduled the following Board of Aldermen meetings on the 2021-22 budget. May 4th, which is today, the Board of Aldermen workshop. May 12th, public hearing on the mayor's proposed budget. And I should have put the time, but I just forgot the time. The public hearing, I think it, let me see if we can.
I thought it was at 6.
See, I'll look at my phone.
6:30 you showing?
Yeah, 6:30 is correct. 6:30 p.m. On May 18th, we have a workshop with the Board of Education, and it's not a presentation, it's a workshop. And they're going to come, the Board of Education's administration is going to come and make a presentation to us on some of the things that they're doing. On May 27th, the Board of Aldermen meeting will be held to adopt a budget and mill rate. Now, if we determine that additional meetings are necessary, we'll schedule them, but that's what we've got scheduled for now. And the reason that they're so short is because the mayor's only recommending a $43,728 total spending increase. And for those who don't want to take the time to do the math, the percentage increase in spending is 0.00034%, which is less than 1/10 of 1%. And the current budget is trending toward another potential surplus. So city department budgets may only need incidental change, review, maybe corrections here and there. The Board of Education is the area where we need to concentrate our efforts. They're asking us to cover $1.1 million in contractual costs, and the mayor, in his budget address, has acknowledged that the Board of Aldermen must put more money into the budget, into the Board of Education budget. So everyone is starting on the same page. I'm also pleased to report that I met with Superintendent Saranich and Board of Education member Carl Rizzo for an update on their technology audit and a summary of how they are utilizing the state ESSR2 grant, which is COVID allocation. I will ask the superintendent to review it with us in detail at our May 18th workshop with them. They have made some very responsible spending decisions that help avoid city capital spending with only the software licensing costs in need of future budgeting. So this is positive and a win-win for our students and our teachers. Very, very, very positive progress. I thought that we'd start by going through the budget. And I think we start with the expenditure side, go through the departments, and just flip the pages as we have done in the past, and make note of any observations that anybody has and any potential changes that will be necessary, and at least we can note them, and then of course at the meeting to adopt the budget, prior to that, we'll make the changes and get it all ready to what has to be done, where changes have to be made. So let's flip the pages and go through, and let's take the administrative office.
Give us a number, John.
Well, the administrative office is Department 100.
Right.
I guess you got. Does everybody have the budget?
Yeah.
You just,
That's mine.
it's organized in the order, top to bottom, that I'm gonna go.
Yeah, but I don't have the record page. Yeah, it was stapled wrong, but.
Actually, on page 4.
Yeah, it is stapled wrong.
Yeah, the mayor, you'll notice there, the mayor is recommending, to rejoin CCM, Connecticut Conference of Municipalities.
John, wait a second,
All right?
yeah, mine started out with the wrong numbers, they
Yeah,
stapled it wrong.
Yeah, it's several pages in.
Yeah, it's in, I know,
Oh,
'cause
is it?
yeah.
What page you
I
looking
think
at?
it's the page, I had it marked.
What do you got, the revenues? Did you get that?
Oh, we
No,
started 301.
Yeah, no, it
General
was
fund.
backwards.
General fund is the first 6 pages, so go to
No, that's,
go to the 7th page in your,
Department number
yeah,
100.
yeah, it's,
it's
That's
7
the
pages in.
second number
no,
from
it's
the
not
left.
right.
Yeah,
You guys, yours are?
Mine seems correct.
yeah, mine's out of order too, but.
Mine's 300's the first page, that's incorrect, and I know it, when I was on the phone, I had to look for it too. I thought I put a sticky, but obviously it fell off,
Page 7.
and that's not mine, I'm sorry.
Okay. We got 1,000.
Okay, yeah, I have page,
100.
yeah, I got it, but mine's, it's page 1, but it's, yeah,
Yeah,
got
but
it,
it's 7 pages in.
got it.
I wonder what happened there.
Probably ran it through the stapler
That's a
wrong.
collating error.
Yeah.
Compared to 401.
Or a,
Ran through the machine wrong.
okay, Jen, I'm sorry.
All right. there's no rush. Any questions on what some of these are?
No, I think, I know when we met with the Board of A&T, I know there were comments, because I have circles all over, but, professional services, I'm okay with what the mayor, kept it the same. They were okay with that.
Yeah, this is, the Board of Apportionment and Taxation failed to make a recommendation to the Board of Aldermen. So we're not going to be reviewing anything they discussed. Not, if you want to, you can bring it up
No,
as your own question.
No, I'm just commenting that it's staying the same as what the mayor had for
Right,
the prior.
right.
I have no problem with that.
Okay, that's the kind of comment I want to hear. You know, not that you agree, but the kind of comment is your comment versus comments that were made at that meeting.
Correct.
We all heard their comments, and we'll take them under advisement. And if somebody has something they want to add or say, and it happens to coincide with something A&T said, that's fine.
So for the record, the line is the professional services, and I agree with what the mayor recommended.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's go to page 2, which is Employee Resources Department 200.
Is that a four?
Yes.
200.
Oh, 200, yes. Yep.
As he said, as Jack Basher said, and I believe, I'm not quoting him, but I'm just simply paraphrasing, group insurance, that's the, what the mayor's recommended is based on, it's about the actual cost.
Yes.
And it's probably, you never can tell, that is so uncertain. It's based on our experience.
Past experience, and
Right.
they did mention the 500,000, and there was something,
Yep.
I don't remember the claim, but
And there's no correlation from one year to the next. It's
a
all,
risk.
each year is independent and dependent upon your actual experience. So, and of course, you can have a bad year one year and a good year the next year, and you can flip-flop. But,
that was the only outlier on this page,
Yep.
for me.
I think it's a reasonable number. 3.7 million is a reasonable number to anticipate. We can always adjust it.
What's the difference there?
We can always adjust it as necessary, either during the year or at year end.
He split the difference.
Of course, the increments are the increases that, wage increases.
Contractual.
All right, there's 2 pages to, employee resources, page 3 also. Unemployment, you'll notice, is running higher than you usually see it because there's a lot of unemployment.
Yep. I didn't know if the substance testing was increases due to that they're doing a basic extended drug testing, or that the company changed. But that's a pretty big jump, but I think it's a reasonable number.
Well, I'll tell you, I think I'll put a question mark after it, and inquire a little deeper with the finance director and find out for you.
It may be that they expanded, but I don't think so, as far as the drug panel.
I'll inquire further,
Okay, thank you.
because the way things look now, at least maybe it's,
Are the inoculations, why is that going up so much also? You might wanna question
COVID.
that. We're not paying for them.
Well, they must have done some
Insurance is,
where's inoculations?
on page, 2,
4,300?
4130
Yeah,
606.
Yeah, I think that
And-
the employer
And
sponsored.
what's your understanding that, we're,
Well, if inoculations are normally given if there's a problem, but under what we know for COVID, it's supposed to be covered by insurance.
Not necessarily, though.
But-
It could be employer sponsored as well,
Okay,
so maybe that's, I don't know if that's what it is.
it's just a question. It's
But,
not a lot of money.
this is,
Yeah, no, it's a good
There's
question.
an increase,
Yeah.
why not?
hold on a second, we'll look it up.
It may be unprecedented because of the pandemic, I don't know.
Joanne,
I was
would you
gonna ask
like a,
Joanna.
popcorn?
No, thank you. I was gonna ask you, do you know anything about it, or nothing at the state level? I know at work, at work it didn't go through insurance. They did it
Well,
as we did it as an employer sponsored, which believe me, I have enough claims,
Oh, yeah, no, ours went through our insurance.
yeah, it depends. I'm healthcare, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ended up with, dealing with this Moderna company right now, Dr. Fauci.
This is mandatory, you can repeat it. Mandatory vaccine for at-risk employees from blood-borne
Pathogens.
pathogens, covers municipal custodians, parks and recreation, highways and bridges. It's a series of 3 shots at $35.
Okay, yeah, so it's for prophylaxis for, Hep B, Hep C, and, HIV.
Protect employees.
If they had exposure, they,
I
Blood-borne
couldn't
Want to have it
pathogens.
available,
you
okay.
have to
Thank
have it
goodness.
available.
Yeah, obviously, but I guess obviously more of it is available. Thank you.
Well, it went,
That's why we have the books.
yeah.
We,
To give them out.
without the people, you need the books. Legislative Department, 0300.
Wait. I have-
Yeah, that professional services was, this year was 72.9. They used 53,166
75.
up to April 1st, and requested 90,000 next year, and Mayor put them in for 75. I think that's reasonable.
Yep.
I think going forward with the amount of land that Mark wants to, acquire, things like that, you're gonna need more
More later.
legal services and professional services to meet the demand for information and, assessment, et cetera.
Board of Ethics, $600, no brainer. Elections, never can predict what's going to happen in elections, but as we've done in the past couple years, we have authorized the over expenditure of certain accounts based on primaries, unexpected primaries, which you can't anticipate. And so that's in line with where it was from 162 to 163,000. I think that's a no-brainer. Inland wetlands, 93,000 going to 96,000. That's, Department 0600.
Most of the increase is going to, most increases for, I think, payroll, which is probably, contractual, I would guess.
Well, it's 73,580 going to 75,762.
So both, it is, yeah.
I can go look up the
No, that's not
piece
that.
if you want. That's ballpark. Economic Development Commission, we're currently spending $67,000 in that department, and it looks like the mayor's recommending take it down to $37,500.
Well, the expenditure to date, is only $9,100 on the, printing and advertising, maybe that's a
But-
10%, that's, 30%.
But that was an anomaly year. That's the only concern I have. We weren't out and about, we weren't traveling, we weren't doing any of that.
Well, the big zero here, it goes, the annual report was $27,500, and there's no annual report coming out next year, so that went down to $1.
Yeah.
The Flag Day picnic went from $9,000 down to $4,500, so that's the reason for the drop in Flag Day picnics were well attended. We didn't have one this year. Last year, I don't know if we're gonna have one this year. If we do, it'll be half the size.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
But that's one event that, city really gets their money's worth. It's, well attended, and it's, one of the most patriotic, holidays of the year.
Absolutely.
Economic development, and that's staying at the same as last year, $120,000. The next one is Department 0900, Planning and Zoning. Planning and zoning is going from $388,050 to $437.75. That's been a major change in that department with all new people, but they're primarily responsible for the grand list growth, and they make a lot of things happen, so we're really getting our money's worth out of that group.
They're seeing more activity than ever before, even with this, downturn.
Yep.
A lot of things, they're seeing a lot more activity as far as not just large projects, but smaller projects too.
Yeah, and the cost of their staff
Yep.
is going up from $263,000 to $285,000, but that's because of reclassifications, changes of jobs, changes of what people are doing. There's a major overhaul up there.
They've also picked up a full-time person in the office.
Oh.
What's the difference?
Right, exactly.
Who was the person in last year?
All right?
Yep.
Recreation Department. 2 pages to that, that's, Department 1000.
Ron Harrah came before, the board,
Mhm.
and he was very, he put on the line what he thought was gonna be happening as things go forward. He still doesn't see a lot of activities because of people being shy about coming out. I think we have to go with his numbers and understand that he's not gonna be as busy as normal.
Yeah, the budget's come down a little bit, not much, but a little bit. I mean, for, regular payroll. But they've got a lot of part-timers.
Probate court. Probate court, is that where we are, John, now?
Yeah.
It's reasonable.
I'm still I'm still on recreation.
Oh, he's still on
Counts.
recreation. We're ahead of him.
Where is he?
Still on recreation, maybe the second page.
Sports and leagues came down from 101 to 93,000.
Community center went up.
Yeah. At community center, that's the programs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he explains why. This is a good department, it's well run. All right, probate court.
Looks good to me.
This is all by state statute, what we have to give them. So, for postage, office supplies, professional services, and they take care of everything else on their own budget. Elected appointed officials. This is, my ordinance.
No big changes here.
No, there's no changes. Conservation Commission. Conservation Commission, there's another department where we get our money's worth. They're out in the field every day during this COVID, and, I'll tell you, I can't give them enough credit for the work they did with us down at the Pearl Bach property. It came out real nice, real professional, and, it's a credit now to Pine Rock Park, whereas before, people were dumping there, and it was just out of control.
Much better.
When you read their minutes and their notes, that they publish, it's phenomenal what they get done.
Yeah.
That's just amount of
Yeah,
funding.
phenomenal amount of work. They have a lot of volunteers, which is nice to see also, obviously.
Yep. Well, we invested, and the Board of Aldermen at our next meeting, we're going to be approving, I believe it's $15,100, which is coming out of the Pine Rock Park, Improvement Fund. You might,
Right amount.
might not know it, but, the Pine Rock Park Improvement Fund, when we settled, this is going back to, approximately, the early 90s, maybe the early to mid-90s, we settled a lawsuit with CRRA, Connecticut Resource Recovery Authority, over the landfill, and they gave us roughly $290-some-odd-thousand in settlement, with a stipulation that it could only be used for Pine Rock Park improvements. What Pine Rock Park consisted of was never defined, and over the years, that was left up to the two aldermen in the ward. Per the agreement, no money can be spent out of that fund except with the agreement between the two aldermen in the ward. So Chris and I had to agree that that money would be well spent for the fence and the beautification efforts. And, I think it came out real good.
Looks good, because when I went down there.
Yep. So, that Pine Rock Park Improvement Fund is in the special revenue account. And you know, it's this is the first time we've used it since the mid-90s. But we offered to put sidewalks in along Long Hill Avenue, so the Pine Rock Park folks could walk up Long Hill Avenue and, you know, enjoy to walk all the way up the full length of Long Hill Avenue. But at the time, there was a Pine Rock Park Homeowners Association, and that Homeowners Association voted against it because they felt that parts of that sidewalk were not in what they considered Pine Rock Park. So that poor sidewalk never got done, and maybe someday it'll be resurrected. All right, the Conservation Commission, that finishes that, no change in there. City Town Clerk, 1,400. Yeah, we're looking at a department that cost, this year, we budgeted $440,000 roughly. And next year, we're looking to budget $453,000. But I'll bet you very few people know and realize in depth what this city clerk department does for the city. They take in, I did a little research. They take in, these are estimated numbers. In town clerk fees, they take in about $975,000 a year. In MERS money, I don't know what MERS means. I forgot for the moment. They take in $375,000. In land records, they take in $330,000. And in vital statistics, they take in $39,000. That's $1,719,000 they take in, the revenues they bring in from their services, as opposed to us spending $450. That's a good deal.
Yep.
And they're tasked with keeping those records secure
Yeah.
and available, and they've done an excellent job.
Yep.
Do a good job.
They've just turned over, I think, to electronics, more electronics,
Good.
pickup.
Yeah, it's making a transition. Do you know what MERS stands for?
I'm thinking,
MERS?
actually,
MERS.
municipal,
Right on top of my head, and I can't.
hang on,
Well,
is it,
there are multiple, MERS is an abbreviation for multiple definitions.
right, but let me see if one,
I keep thinking it's the municipal employee,
that,
retirement.
that's what I think it is.
But I'm not sure it's that,
Hang on, municipal.
because these numbers are income to the city.
Yes, it is.
For services, yeah.
It is, oh, it just went blank on my
Uh,
phone. It is a municipal employment retirement system, I think, hang on.
And they don't, one of the things I haven't included in here, and I haven't checked this, this is just my research, and
John, that is it.
I could, yeah, I could be off, but, I also remember, maybe I missed something here, we receive, the city receives, when there's a real estate sale, we receive a conveyance tax, and I didn't include that. I'll bet you that's a good
That's-
number, especially with all the sales going.
One of the years you did tell us that one, and it was pretty substantial. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but I remember that.
Yeah. So, I mean, on the revenue side, when we get to the revenue side, maybe we'll look at that a little closer. Department 1,500, Public Employees Appeals Board, $200, we never have any activity there. Senior Center Department is 1,600. Very positive. We spent $381 last year. We're looking to spend $484. They asked for $484, and the mayor brought them down to $369. So this illustrates that it's not only the Board of Education who doesn't get everything they ask for. It's other departments as well. And I don't think we carte blanche say, well, okay, everybody should get less, or generalize. But this is an example that, they got to pull in their belts a little bit, and other departments are faced with the same thing. there is, it's not in here, and it's probably going to be bought, as the mayor said, with, COVID money, the tent. They're doing the work up there, preparing the grounds, and then once that tent goes in, they're gonna really expand the programs. Everybody's excited about that. Something good. But where's the difference coming in? It's going, okay, travel's being curtailed from 28,000 roughly 29,000 last year to 15,000. That's one of the reasons for the reduction. That's
13,000, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, there won't be a junket to Las Vegas this year.
Well, we never go to, senior citizens never go to Las Vegas.
Okay.
And the other looks like, he kept it status quo for part-time employees.
Yep, yeah, building maintenance come down a little bit, $100, not even, $100. That's about it. Nothing to worry about. Drug and Alcohol Commission. I don't even think that is in existence anymore.
That's just
That doesn't necessarily mean that we solved the drug and alcohol problem. But they got other ways of dealing with it. The Zoning Appeals Board. No change in that budget.
Nope.
Legal Services, no
Same
change
thing.
in that budget.
No.
That was, that's something that gets talked about quite a bit. And I just don't understand why. When we're getting legal services, we're getting corporation counsel and assistant corporation counsel services at rates unheard of. And we've extended those rates to the Board of Education, and they're saving more money and allowing them to use some of their budgeted funds in other ways. I don't understand the comment that's made from time to time that we're spending a lot of money. We're spending a lot of money on counsel services. Well, not for corporation counsel, maybe professional services. And if you look in here, the budget for professional services is only $7,500. I guess that's professional legal services. So that's still in control. And people try to use this as a crutch to make their points that because the city has to pay for legal services to defend itself in labor relations matters, that this is wrong if the city's paying too much. It's just they just fail to make the point as far as I'm concerned. And I just think this proves it. We're holding the line on our legal costs. And,
Imagine what it is in the other cities, like New Haven, Hartford, Bridgeport. Imagine what it is in those cities.
Yeah.
Far above what, compared to what we have.
I think it's very reasonable.
Well, and I understand that the Board of Education judiciously uses this by, when they go to our council, they say if they can't handle the situation, they recommend someone else who's handled those type of cases so that you're not overexpending Board of Education. They're doing the right thing also. They're working in our favor, city's favor.
Oh, yeah. But I think if you, and I'm trying to be very polite and general. I think if you have an ulterior motive, and you're trying to get your friends to represent your group, you'll make these kind of allegations, but they're not substantiated. That's my point.
We do see people trying to do that, yes, I think. Correct.
Okay, going to public safety and emergency services. Department 2000.
And no changes.
Minimal change, right?
Bottom line looks all the same.
Only
But-
$3,000 difference, probably.
3,000, yeah. It's only, the whole department's only 123,000.
But the weird thing is, I don't see the difference when you look at the,
Well, you're looking at,
Payroll.
it's original budget versus new budget.
no, I know, no,
That's the difference.
no, that's not what I'm saying.
What don't you say?
Oh, yeah, you're right, I was looking at the wrong column, sorry. The
The-
3,000, I got it.
Yeah.
The increase from last year
I
to this
missed
year
it.
is just simply salaries.
Yep.
EMS commission. There's a reduction in their budget from 134 down to 102. And that,
That's VEMS, isn't it?
paramedic intercept VEMS.
Yeah.
So I thought they were getting the communication system, didn't something change this past year? Weren't they planning to do more? I thought they were doing something.
No, it's isn't this the agreement where our people are doing it now?
Is that what it is?
As opposed to VEMS, that's,
Oh, you mean about the
Right.
runs?
The
You're talking about the runs, the
Yeah.
services. I was talking about the system they use, like the dispatch system.
Right.
I thought they changed
no,
something.
no, that would be under, I think you'd be looking at the CMed, the communication system.
Apparently, next year, our paramedic intercept payments are going, city payments of 32,000
Right.
are being eliminated.
Oh, okay.
That's what this
Therefore,
is.
Therefore, that's the
That's the
difference in the
difference.
budget, the reason for the reduction. But, you know, that just didn't happen. That just didn't happen, because somebody snapped their finger. That took a great,
That was a lot of effort.
oh, right.
It was.
That took a great deal of courage. First of all, the history here goes back many years when we brought this up once before, and we asked that, we recognize that, people who call for an ambulance were getting billed from the ambulance service and from the paramedic intercept. Ever since the state of Connecticut determined that it was necessary to have a paramedic respond, that has been going on. We brought it up and we said, how can we eliminate this? And the negotiations took place, and it ended up, it stopped when the paramedic intercept told us that they wanted a city to pay them, instead of 30,000, some 92,000.
Right.
And if we did that, then they wouldn't charge the people. And that's when negotiations broke down. So now, recently, we found that there were a lot of people in our town that were using the ambulance and paramedics multiple times and incurring multiple bills which they couldn't afford, especially seniors. And so the mayor pressed a button and said, something's got to give and something's got to happen, and we got to make it happen. Well, thanks to the VEMS as well as Echo Hose ambulance, they sat down at the mayor's request, and they thrashed it out, and they figured it out, and they come up with a solution that is gonna be fantastic for seniors, especially, who are the heaviest users of this service, at a time when they can probably least afford it. So, it's resolved, and it's a positive win-win for everybody, and that's the reason why the 32,000 is going away. If the mayor didn't stick to his guns, believe me, and it took courage, and he did it. I'll be criticized for praising the mayor. Animal Control, Department 2300.
Get the fire.
Fire
So
marshal,
we
I
got the
think,
fire
John.
marshal first, John.
Oh, sorry about
2,200,
that.
yep.
Sorry about that. Just looking to see everybody's awake. Haven't put you to sleep yet. Fire marshal. I'm talking to the fire marshal today. He's still here with us. He's still on the payroll. He's still fighting fires. But I said to him, you never seem to solve these. What happened? How did it start? You never seem to know.
There was a fire on Long Hill, Crossroads, was it?
Yeah.
Long Hill Avenue.
Long Hill Avenue, yeah.
Yep.
35,
Oh, and it was
Sure.
her.
no,
204. I don't know how it started.
they said 35 fire, and respond.
But it was going pretty good when I saw it.
I could see the smoke from, Ansonia.
Oh, you
I knew it was over there somewhere, I couldn't pinpoint it though.
This is the second fire in a month.
Yeah, this,
The last one was the, police chief's.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was his house.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
so, fire marshal's office is going from 317 to 322. Those are pretty standard duties that they have. It's pretty, functional in that those people who work there, are, it's not a lot of turnover, and they're all trained firefighters, and so and most of the cost here is going up because of, looks like salary.
This is the arm of the,
Salary, yeah, part-time.
this is the arm of the fire department, or if you wanna call it that protects us, the most from ourselves by checking multifamily houses, et cetera.
The inspections.
Yep.
Inspections.
Inspector, yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. Incidentally, they didn't get everything they requested either. They asked for 363 and they got 322. They're going up from 317 to 322.
5,000.
What did
Yeah.
Wow, they wanted part-time employees. 109, they wanted to go to 154. They asked for more part-time employees.
We had more buildings to the downtown, especially, more inspections.
Animal Control, Department 2300. Yeah, this is going from 253 to 290.
Part-time.
Mayor spoke to that at his presentation, if you recall.
It's a $37,000 increase,
They're gonna bring in more revenue.
we're also dealing with, bigger problems lately.
Right.
Because of the
Payroll
COVID.
those.
Yeah, the increase is all in payroll. Regular payroll is making a full-time person going from 78,000 to $136. And then,
Yeah, wasn't he he was getting another person though, I thought that,
He picked, I think he took the two part-time people and made them
full-time, right?
The two young ladies that are there, their assistants. In fact, there's a nice article about them in the paper.
Oh, okay.
all right, let's see. Any observations, anything about that animal
No,
shelter?
just payroll stuff.
Fire department. Fire department.
Minimally. Not much of an increase.
Not at all, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're held the line pretty well. $5,000 in part-time employees. 5,000 increase.
It's about $80,000, less than it did.
Well, it's about 2,000 above last year.
If I had to make a comment, I would recommend $5,000 more in the pension/incentive awards.
What number are you looking at, John?
That's 2,400, 512, 30-01. And the reason for that is that those are actuaries' numbers, and the actuary tells them based on members in the plan. It's not incentive. When you say incentive, it's not the common thought. It's a type of pension incentive. You know what I mean? You earn it, and you get so many credits and so forth.
I think it's about, $400 a month, X amount of.
Well, I don't know what the number is. I don't think the benefit has any bearing on the cost. The actuary figures who's in it, what the age is, what the expectation is, and then he comes in with a number and says you have to put in between this much at the bottom and this much at the top. And if they got 100,000 in here, it's generally what they've been told by the actuary. So to cut them 10,000 might be a little too much. So I'd say put back another 5,000 in there. That'd be my recommendation.
3001, you're saying?
It's
No, it's
512,
1109.
1109, 2,400, 512.
But it went down 5.
Right, we'll take it
You
down.
want to bring it back up?
Yeah, you want to bring it back up.
Requested.
Put it back to last year's.
Yeah, 95, right. Because I'm not sure if that is the number that's recommended for next year, or if that's the expectation of the person who prepared the budget.
Went to the,
And so we'll
Ask about it.
we'll take the middle road on that. All right, and fire department, page 2.
Everything was the same.
Yep.
Yes, so from last year to this year, the total is only $2,000 increase. So if we go for the 5,000, in pension incentive awards, that's, that brings it 7,000 difference. Police department, right? 2,500. That was certainly, heated things up, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
So the big jump is in regular payroll, non-sworn.
Yeah, it looks like,
Yeah.
looks like an additional 60,000, right, in regular payroll?
Non-sworn's jumping.
Non-sworn,
Yeah,
pretty big, yep.
60,000. Only 2 people, that doesn't mean a lot of people.
You mean we're paying the chief of police $4,000, $4 million?
Don't start.
Start a rumor. Okay, the regular payroll is going from $4,831 to $4,890,000. That looks like about roughly 60,000. That doesn't seem unusual. If he's trying to add staff, and he's actively doing it part-time, goes from 154 to 162.
I have a question on 5/11/30, the accreditation. I know they're going for more accreditation.
I was gonna ask that.
So, I just wanted to know, did they have an estimated amount? Because the mayor knocked it down by 10 grand, so do they already know how much it's gonna cost them? Because why the decrease? I would think.
That's a good question. We could,
Yeah, because some of this might be mandated by.
Right, that's what I'm concerned with.
It is
There will
mandated.
be.
It is
they were
mandated.
very
So
clear
the
to us
price-
the other evening.
Yeah.
Cost might,
Yeah.
did they get a price and they already know it's that number versus what it was previously?
I think what it is, they have to follow protocol, and that
Right,
costs money to make
Well,
sure.
that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why it went down.
because originally it's 25.
Right.
Well, they only spent almost 10, so.
Well, you got almost 3 months.
2,500.
Well, actually, no.
30,000 over than.
2,530.02.
They're making a judgment.
Again, I think it's,
20.
I think it's an anomaly year. A lot of stuff wasn't being conducted this past year.
According to the chief.
Sean, yeah, he said that, but.
They did step up, they were inspected just as they were supposed to be, and they didn't miss a trick, they still got the.
That's what he said.
Because there's several phases to this
Yeah,
accreditation.
there's all different tiers.
Yeah, tiers.
They just wouldn't wanna
think there's-
shortchange them, but maybe they know.
But there's 4 levels.
So maybe they already know that that will be the figure
Yeah.
they need. We could just ask them. Sounds like they already know. It's already 7 o'clock.
Okay. The Shelton Police Department has achieved Tier 1 accreditation from the Connecticut Police Officers Standards and Training Council. I've got to mind my manners. It just dawned on me that I'm not speaking into the mic. The Shelton Police Department has achieved Tier 1 accreditation from the Connecticut Police Officers Standards and Training Council and was just reaccredited January 2021. We're in the process of assessment and implementation of items and programs needed for Tiers 2 and 3 accreditation, as well as CALEA, which will eventually be required per state law under the new police accountability bill. We are requesting $20,000 in funding for this item. It may be necessary to request additional funding as the fiscal year progresses, and will seek any viable grant funding where applicable. Some of the items we will be looking to fund in the coming year include incidental expenses for meetings with other agencies, audits, policy review, Phase 2 of electronic key system, programmable fobs/badges for building entry and office access. Online organization, management, and distribution policy documents reduces cost and complexity of policy management and training by storing, updating, disseminating, and tracking critical compliance content online. That's the powered DMS. I don't know what that means. But the clue in here is that it may be necessary to request additional funding as the fiscal year progresses. So maybe what the mayor did, it's 3002. Yeah. Maybe what he did was to take the 25 and bring it down to 15 on the premise that maybe the grants, maybe he'll receive grants, maybe he knows something we don't know, but we'll raise the question and ask that it be increased to 10,000. Is that what you want?
Yeah, I'd raise the question, yes.
I think achieving accreditation is important,
Absolutely.
and it says something, about the conduct and the standard of conduct that our officers provide. So I think that's important. Okay, we'll ask the question. Thank you.
And the other line item, 30-17, records admin. It looks like we've overspent this year, so I'm assuming that's why we're having an increase.
Right.
The mayor's got them going from 25,000 budget last year, 25,132, up to 49,000. So he's not giving them what he asked for.
Well, yeah, because they already almost spent 70,000.
Could it be because when when COVID struck, they kept only the professional police in the station, and they had let go some of the administrative staff, so the police officers were being paid to do it, maybe they're, so it could have been more expensive using them versus a clerk for records. I can only surmise that and ask for, hold that question, why is it?
Well, let's
That's
pull
not a
the sheet.
payroll, that's not a,
Sheet.
it looks like it's more of a
Let's pull the sheet.
system.
Let's pull the sheet. This time we'll have Joanna give us a rundown. I can take a break. (30-17).
Yes.
Where does it say that?
It's,
No, we're on this page.
The sheets, there's a
there's
number,
numbers on top.
yeah, 3017, it'll be 5113017. That's the way to learn, is to get up and do exactly what she's doing. Good for you, Joanne.
It says it's to ensure the destruction of records is completed in accordance with the federal and state regulations. In order to maintain compliance by the Shelton Police Department, records are purged regularly according to procedures established by state and federal regulations. Cost of pickup, records, compliance with state statutes, destruction of drugs.
Could you speak up just a hair more?
Sure.
Thank you.
The state of Connecticut charges $75 per person for background checks, collects $13.25 per person for electronic fingerprinting for all persons applying for permits or requiring fingerprinting. And that's the majority of it, is the $42,000.
Okay, well, we
That-
understand it then.
That explains a lot.
Exactly.
This year there was a spike in the number of gun permits requested, and
Yeah.
they all take background checks. There was a spike in the number of, guns sold.
Well, makes sense.
We
Yeah.
all know why.
Yep, we know why.
So the mayor is pumping them up from 25 to 50 roughly,
Yeah.
49,
almost
510. I think the mayor's judgment in this case, may be the right one, because it's not gonna be the same next year, because everybody reacted differently this year to the threats of BLM riots
Right.
and stuff like that. So, okay, I'd go along with the
Yeah.
mayor.
Yeah, I agree.
What does it say? What's 40-16 say, Narcan?
What,
Yeah, only $70 was expended.
Yeah, I know, that's why
Yeah.
I'm asking what
well,
it
Narcan is the
was
antidote.
budgeted this
Yeah.
year for 10,000. And he's cut them,
The
they
department
asked
dropped
for
their
5.
request.
They asked for 5, so,
Yeah, they did, yeah.
so they're acknowledging the fact.
Yeah, that it wasn't,
Right.
utilized.
Right. So the mayor went along with the request.
I had a constituent, question me last time around about this, that we didn't have our police officers trained, but they were trained.
Yeah, they were.
They're up to speed on this, yeah.
Isn't that a mandate?
All first responders
Well,
around here are
it's, you know,
trained.
we had just started it.
Yeah, I think it's a mandate now.
Yeah. We have it in the schools.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hang
don't get
on the
me
wall.
started on that,
Uh, I'm not
that whole
going there.
thing, yeah.
What's this, Narcan?
Yeah, I think it's a mandate that
Yeah.
all of the departments have to have it, or,
You know about the Narcan
yeah,
part,
that they're,
right?
that they're trained in it
Goes until
and everything too, so.
Well, okay, so they're requested 5,000, the mayor gave them the 5,000.
Right.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
fine. I think that's
No
fine.
issue.
Yep.
Hopefully it
All right.
doesn't have to be
Hopefully we
used.
never use any of it, but everyone is safe.
Page 29, that's police department as well.
Yep.
What is it? We spend a lot of money in photo supplies, huh? Wow.
Don't you have to take the pictures of the, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Store them.
Yeah,
Some we have to print for
yeah,
services.
probably all digital.
Even though we're digital, you still have to print services.
Absolutely.
Now, the school resource program, 51180-01, that went down almost $3,000, from $5,800 to $3,000. The department requested only $3,000, so is that program going to, is it not as robust as it was at one point in time now?
Don't forget, we haven't had school.
No, I know, that's why I don't know. I know with the
Yeah, and
same people that wanted the SRO, then they went the other way, the pendulum swung, right?
that's absolutely right.
Where are we now with that pendulum?
Well,
I don't know.
Well, I think one of our senators was moving to get rid of SRO.
Correct,
Murphy.
yes, I know.
And I saw the article on the news.
We do have an officer that is, ramping up to get back into the schools, get back
Right.
into the community and helping out, so that may be, why we're holding it at 3,000.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I hope we don't get rid of them.
546.
Sign of the times.
Yep,
Yeah, but I think that makes sense, I agree, because, when our school administrators and teachers need support, there's gotta be some money there to support them,
absolutely.
you know?
Under the circumstances, they couldn't get an officer in to have a big, usually has a big audience. We weren't doing any of those things this
Right,
year.
Right.
exactly.
We're bringing the kids into the auditorium or things like that, so obviously he wasn't out as much as he would have been.
Right, so the other, line item 80-17, crime prevention, I know that Officer Staples is trying to expand
Right.
prevention, knowledge in the neighborhoods and communities and bond.
I called him account, and he couldn't because of the COVID right now, but he said, he saw me the other night, he said, I will be out to see you.
Good.
For
It's
my-
just that they only requested half of what they, but they didn't spend it, that's because of COVID,
Okay.
so anyway, I guess that's okay.
The difference between the,
in support of his activities, I heard something on TV that was, goes back a long way. This was a World War II documentary, and it was saying how the Gestapo, which was the chief enforcement arm of the Hitler's
Right.
henchmen, the Gestapo only initiated 10% of the cases that they were took on. 90% of the cases were initiated by complaints from citizens. So citizens can play an important role. I mean, in Germany at that time, they probably were viewed as snitches and people that wanted to get ahead, and maybe the Gestapo gave them a hamburger or something like that. I don't know, some incentive to talk and report things, but it works. It works. And those fearful tactics, if they go too far and they become fearful and they're dreadful, that's what I see a lot of people saying, that's what we should do here. I mean, when I say people, I mean elected officials saying, that's what we should do here. If they're not wearing their masks, report them. Let your neighbor report them.
I mean, we have a nice neighborhood where I live where the people will call or let someone know if there's something in the neighborhood that's a little odd. An unmarked van with out-of-state plates, someone knocking on the door without a certificate to solicit, things like that. I think every neighborhood and every neighbor should be watching for the other neighbor. It's just good citizenship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something we should be teaching in school.
Well, I think to be encouraged to turn your neighbor in for not wearing a mask.
No, not that.
No, because, there's been news, it's been on the news, where people like Pelosi say, well, turn in your neighbor, and for not wearing a mask, if they have more than 10 people, this is not job, extremism that, but.
Yeah, it's not positive. But certainly, you see things going on, you report it to the proper authorities.
Right, exactly.
And that gives the proper authorities a chance to do something about it in a positive way. They're trained, they know how to approach the situation.
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right, anything else on
No,
police?
none of them.
Next page.
Okay, Youth Service Bureau,
I'm surprised at that.
Department 2700.
In fact, they're going up about 6,000.
Yep, they got 217 last year, they're looking for 220, they requested 224, they're getting 223, so they're going in the right direction.
Yep.
Well, they used almost all their money, the movie program during COVID.
They do, there's a lot of students, a lot of children that need, something like youth children.
Yeah.
Jose, can you hear me? Is microphone?
Yeah, but your
You hear it
microphone.
overhead? He hears it overhead, John.
Okay, thank you. Just checking.
Anyway, I was just curious if.
So, nothing in the youth service.
Now, I'm
Public health,
I'm curious. I wanted to better understand the movie program.
Well, we haven't had it.
Well,
But they used almost the whole, that's what I'm confused with. They used almost all the money, so,
they're doing something good, right?
during COVID, though? That's what I'm not understanding.
Now, they used it,
They,
I mean, during the summer, they did have the
Thank you,
movie
though.
down, they did
yeah,
have.
but don't
They did.
forget, during the,
they use it.
Oh, okay,
During the
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
during the
they
warm
put
weather,
blankets outside, yeah.
your
Blanket-
risk is lower, right?
No, I understand
Yeah.
about being outside, but
Right,
I'm
exactly.
surprised that they,
Yeah, I think
Okay.
the theme this year was blankets and baby carriages.
okay, thank you.
That should have been a movie.
Sounds like a movie title.
Public health, obviously, you know, that's mandated.
And by a
Per capita.
population,
Right.
$7 and change or something like
Right.
that per person.
Okay.
It's going up only a couple thousand.
So 40,000 people times 7, that's about 28,000.
This public health, we've got our money's worth this year because of all the COVID
Yeah.
problems
Right.
and how they've had to step in.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
But every year, I think we it's a good investment. I remember when they first started, it seems like Valley Health started back in 1923, but it wasn't that far back. But it was back when Frank Cece was still here, and Frank, I remember Frank objecting to us joining Valley Health because it was 50 cents per capita, and he predicted that was going to go up, nowhere but up.
He's right.
But we were spending $222,000 for all the health assistance we get throughout the entire city, for a number of reasons, and people access directly with information. It's a real good deal for the price we pay.
I don't think some people understand it's not just that they're checking wells, but they're checking on other people and other things. They're making sure that clinics, our kitchens, restaurants are on the street, et cetera. It's a big expense.
All right, the building department, Department 3100 building.
These people are busy, obviously. And they also bring in, monies, from their fees.
And I think the increase reflects, because I think they're bringing on a new person.
Yep,
So, and that's what you hear.
that's,
Well, usually part-time, inspectors have become full-time, I
Full-time.
believe, yeah.
all right.
That's the only change, really.
Yeah, that's the only change is in payroll.
And I have to say, I had to deal with them during the pandemic, they were excellent, even with the pandemic problems.
They really do.
They
awesome
made
job.
good decisions, they showed me
Yep.
good ways of doing things, I was very pleased with their help.
Okay.
Highways and bridges, Department 3200.
Not much of a difference overall,
Actually, only about
considering
16,000.
all that's been going on.
This is the, well, I'll say the crew or the group that takes care of 220 miles of road, plus,
More than that.
plus,
They do a lot.
all the other things that they're doing, replacing, repairing, resurfacing, vehicles that they have to take care of, many things that they do. And they also step in, when we need things done, like digging,
Yeah.
to, help out with other departments.
Yeah, the next Board of Aldermen meeting, we're going to be acting on a motion, to transfer, to provide them with $600,000 for road improvement, road repairs, for, you gotta buy asphalt.
Right.
It's expensive. And we historically have paid for it out of either general fund surplus when it was available, or Board of Aldermen bonding.
We've also done some, have we done some, bonding with calling a referendum on that? Did we do a $4 million referendum one time?
We did it in, 2010, then there was another one.
There was another one, because I
There
remember
was
voting
another
on that.
after that.
Yeah, there are two,
I think maybe
About the
sometime,
road.
2017, I think, maybe.
yeah.
So instead of going out for $1 million in a referendum, and one of the reasons, if you recall, that year when we did that, the referendum, it was because we refinished half of Constitution Boulevard. That alone, to do half that road cost us $1 million.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
Right.
so we're, the roads are expensive, and we've been trying, a number of ways to finance it, so that whatever is the best way to do it. Sometimes we have to resort to borrowing, but remember, when we borrow, we pay it back. When we do Board of Alderman bonding, we pay it back over 5 years.
Right.
So that keeps the interest down, and
If I'm correct, I believe they also take care of, police vehicles.
Yeah.
So it's another.
Yes, they do.
They're on, and those vehicles obviously get a lot of use.
No, I just have a comment on the gasoline and the diesel.
Give me a number.
Yeah, it's, 3,200, 712.40-01.
Got it.
And I mentioned this last week because, you see the gas prices are over $3 a gallon. You may be at $4 a gallon by the summertime or higher.
We're buying bulk, so we're getting some kind of a discount.
I'm just saying though,
You think it should be
I'm anticipating the increase.
that's an oversimplification.
So,
You're right. The mayor, the purchasing agent, and Paul Hiller locked us in with gasoline prices long-term. We got a hell of a deal. I forgot the exact number, but we had to approve it, if you recall.
Yeah,
We had to approve that action. It was maybe 2 years ago.
yeah, we still have.
And we got prices now that we're paying, that were prices 2 years ago.
propane,
Not only
Listen,
propane,
yeah.
gasoline.
yeah.
Propane
We
too.
locked it all in.
But I wanted to mention the propane too, because
Yep.
that's the other point, that the mayor and the purchasing agent, the
Yep.
finance director, got a tremendous deal, and that's why there's significant savings there as well. So I just wanted to bring that point up.
Yep, that's a good point, Eric. It's a good point. So there's consistency in the cost, that's why there's consistency. Last year, we spent $295,000 for gasoline and diesel, and next year, the mayor is recommending $300,000.
Right.
And that number, in terms of what where the price is going up, the way it's going up, it almost went up $1 a gallon.
Yeah,
Almost $1 a
I
gallon,
think
so.
since January.
This number is, illustrates, how good a deal it really is. Roads and bridges, there's 2 pages, page 134.
Yeah, I don't really see anything else.
Nothing jumps out
Yeah.
as,
Yeah.
An outlier,
overly
yeah.
done here,
Page
They're
35.
pretty close to, they're only about 15 increase from last year, or the current year, I should say.
It's about 340,000 less than they asked for, but their expenditures to date, this is, April 1st, I'm guessing, so this probably doesn't have April, May, June, July, May, June.
You have a lot of time to go yet.
Sometimes it doesn't make,
It doesn't catch
that's
up.
only 3/4 of the year,
So he's behind.
2/3 of the year.
Yeah.
So another third would be $1 million plus, yeah.
Yep.
Just looking at sidewalk repairs raises a question.
Well, that's where when we actually do it. Most of the time, the person who's doing it is the owner of the property.
And then they get that
They get a simple.
We do a reimbursement,
Right.
that's right.
Concrete for amount and
prorated.
by concrete or asphalt.
Yeah, my observation is that last year we budgeted for $53,000, and so far we spent nothing. And this year we're gonna budget for $53,000, so it's,
I mean, given the past year, there hasn't been a lot of activity,
yeah.
because the street committee gets the requests for the sidewalk,
That's right.
sidewalk reimbursements. And I'm always checking with the clerk, and we haven't had anything, but I think too, because of the past year, there hasn't been,
Well,
anything going on, really.
you take the properties on Howe Avenue, they've put in brand new,
Exactly right.
Their own
We've had, yeah, we've had a lot of,
much nicer than what was
Right.
there before.
yeah,
So these projects are improving our downtown
Yeah, it looks
all
better.
the time.
exactly right.
All right, road repairs, as I just told you,
Right.
we're not gonna put it into this account, but we're gonna approve $600,000.
Oh,
So, I'll just put a question mark after this. If we're gonna approve $600,000, they still need the $65,000.
Right.
Public Works Director. Remember, Public Works Director, for those who may not be aware, Public Works Director per charter manages, I believe it's the city engineer, Public Works supervisor of Public Works, and, what else?
He has over 80 people under him, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, he does.
It's not a,
It's highways,
Is it,
highways and bridges,
Right.
the engineers.
Is it,
engineering department,
garbage and stuff, or no?
Yes,
Yeah.
sanitation,
Garbage,
trash,
and recycling.
sanitation,
trash and recycling,
And recycling,
sanitation,
yes,
recycling.
recycling.
right?
You've got a number of responsibilities. They're all listed in the charter.
right,
And somebody asked the question, during previous meetings, what is his job? It's all listed in there.
did they read the book?
Well, I don't know, but you have to ask them. And I'm just saying that it's all put in there.
Right,
It's all pretty clear that he's the one that does the negotiating with the recycling, and when he does this, and with sanitation,
Did you say,
he's out for 5-year contracts.
John, did you mention the, transfer station?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
that too.
I didn't mention that, but
Oh, good.
that's another
that's
thing he
that's another
oversees, transportation.
Yeah, so he
That-
oversees a
that is
lot.
Right.
an operation in itself.
Yep. No,
It is,
yep,
doing very well.
So, we're good on that one.
and, he's making $50,000, you know what I mean? He's half volunteer and half, employee.
We have someone who knows the city extremely well.
Oh, yeah, well, he's got the experience, he's got the construction experience. All right, tree warden. I wanna recommend the tree warden get an extra,
Wait
Wait a minute, John.
Engineering.
Engineering's next.
Engineering,
Page
yeah.
37.
okay.
360, 30.
Just checking to see if everybody's awake.
Oh, okay, thanks. Appreciate you keeping us up to speed.
Jeez.
So the big chunk is the
Payroll is.
payroll again, the part-time.
That's because there's a new person up there?
An assistant,
Yeah,
yeah. He's been running without an assistant, He's been managing the department without an assistant, and, now they're gonna add
Well, I have to say that when I've had difficulty with the situation where someone's rocks are falling on the road or anything like that, or water going the wrong way, the engineering department has always gone up, actually looked at the situation, taken the pictures, discussed it with the owners, and solved a lot of problems, safely and easily than having neighbors at each other's throats. I give them a lot of credit for their work.
there's a lot of collaboration, if that's the right word, amongst the people on the third floor, planning and zoning, John Cook in the wetlands, and, city engineer, and even sometimes the sewer department. But, an interesting scenario that took place last week, a constituent called me and wanted someone to take a look at an erosion situation. And so, when you talk erosion, you have to, first somebody has to go out and find out what's causing the erosion. And so I called the city engineer, and he said, look, that erosion that you're talking about, there's a stream going right by it. There's a stream running right alongside of it. That would involve John Cook in the wetlands. There's runoff from the water, from the streets, the pipes coming out, and that's going in the same spot into the brook. He said that would involve city engineer. He said, and he said, if there's trees and stuff around there, we might have to bring in the tree warden. He said, but it could be
That's
but
right?
I'll go out there and I'll assess the situation. He says, I'll determine, and if I have to bring in others, we'll get together and we'll take a look at it, and we'll let your constituent know what needs to be done, what can't be done, and how we're going to go about it. But I thought it was interesting to relate that, and so he's out in the field, and he can't be in here reviewing, doing other things. The workload is necessary to add part-time staff,
Especially with large buildings.
full-time staff in the system. And we had one before, and so it is a two-person department. All right?
Yep.
Okay, moving on to the tree warden. Like I said, he could spend a lot more money, because there's a lot of trees that need coming down.
Right.
Yep.
There isn't a person in this town that doesn't have a tree on the city right away that thinks it's unsafe.
Well, last year, the ash trees, the diseased ash trees, because I'm dealing with one of our constituents right now, and so I guess we have a lot of dead ash trees around.
Well, that's the beauty of the tree warden. That's what he's trained to do, and to go out and know when a tree is dead or when it's alive or when it needs trimming or when it needs removal. And he does that. And he also brings in, what do you call those guys that cut the trees?
Tree
The arborists.
arborists.
Yeah,
Arborists. Yeah.
professionals when they trim the trees.
Yeah,
Trim and not kill the trees.
Right, exactly.
he could spend this money as he's got in his budget. He can spend it in a week.
Or sooner.
But
I don't have any questions on this one.
no,
Okay.
I don't either. Just recycling program. Okay, this comes under the Director of Public Works. And that's locked into contract.
Yeah, that one looks.
We have, one of the big expense in there, of course, is the hazard waste collection, which we do in October. And at that time, we have, a vehicle can drive in with 2 cans of paint in it, or with 100 cans of paint. It's the same cost per vehicle. And we do it very efficiently. Very well. In fact, Eric is probably one of the best aldermen to have there that day. He knows everybody and moves them right along.
Well, we get a lot of participation from the
We certainly
community,
do.
which is excellent.
Yep.
And people do save their stuff. This is a program that's utilized.
And the costs are going up.
Yep.
Yeah.
The costs are going up, but it's a worthwhile
Oh,
program, 'cause
absolutely it is.
otherwise these things would be dumped in the brook.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Participation has really increased.
Good.
I mean, when you get people coming in now, it's,
Yeah, I wanna go back to something that happened several years ago when the mayor came to us and, showed us a pretty substantial bill to buy the garbage pails and the equipment to pick up the trash. By doing that, he eliminated so much waste on the ground, so much
absolutely.
is blowing around. It was an excellent idea.
Yep.
And I think, everybody really appreciates it.
The main reason that those receptacles were done, though, was for workers' comp. That was the number one reason.
Oh, yeah, reason, but still, it was an excellent idea. Having experienced it for 8 years in Arizona, when I lived there, I said, this is great. Would it work in the snow? And it does very well work in the snow. People make an accommodation, even the accommodation we made with the smaller barrels for the older, people and those in condominiums that didn't have as much space to store the barrels inside,
Right.
yeah. Very well thought out.
Well, I'm glad the department request for the hazardous waste collection increase roughly $4,000, and it was accepted by the mayor. That's
Yep.
good.
Costs are going up.
Sanitation. All right. Sanitation. Look at these costs. $3 million. Looks like it's, this is all contractual as well.
Yes.
But the disposable fees,
Disposal fees, that's to go down to burn
That's a big
center.
ticket item.
that's over 200,000, 220,
Yeah.
not 220, but up there.
Yeah. Yep. That's the one
If
that,
we, of course, if we
at the
take
burn
this
center
to
in
households,
Stratford.
it's about $220, per household, so that's not a bad price to get rid of that much trash, to pick up every week, than every other weekend.
Well, you mentioned earlier the transfer station. They do a yeoman business
Yes.
down there.
Yeah, they do.
Filling up those things.
I was there twice this week, and let me tell you, it was Jehovah's business.
I think it's $500.
I'm there all the time with my stupid boxes.
I think it's $500 a haul, just to take
Is
one
it?
load out.
Oh, you can imagine.
I can look it up,
Oh.
but, just to take care of our sanitation, the part-time employees must be the transfer station people. The regular
Yeah.
payroll, I don't know who the regular payroll is, but so it's like one person.
I think that's the coordinator. I'm not sure.
Let's look it up. 3,900, 1001. 3,900, Department 3,900, 714, 1001.
It says the full-time person is a supervisor, 35 hours a week.
That must be, maybe that's the guy, I don't know if it's a supervisor down at the transfer station, or if it's a supervisor, the assistant,
It could, yeah, that's what I think it is,
I don't know his name.
yeah,
At Public Works.
yeah.
In Roach?
No,
Um,
the guy,
No.
the guy who works, under Roach.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's okay.
Pardon me?
No, nothing.
I know.
But it's mostly disposable fees and garbage
Jose?
collection.
Yeah, he's walking around.
He's out in the hallway.
You can look on the screen and find out.
I can see him.
No, I mean, is there anybody online with us?
You would have heard
Right.
it.
Just keep,
No, I mean,
keep plowing through.
okay.
I'm getting ready.
Keep going,
I'm
guys.
exhausted.
All right, for Department 4100, Board of Education, as I said earlier, the comments, so, well, from what I said earlier, what we're looking to do here is to increase them, as the superintendent said. I'm just repeating what he said at the Board of A&T meeting, that he's looking for $1,179,000 more.
Well, yeah.
Does anybody disagree with that? Have I got that right?
I think that's what the number was.
Yeah, okay, okay, you see what they've got here. We've got,
Well, after,
I think what we've got to do is, the target for us is to find a way to provide him with that $1,179,000. That was, he asked for on behalf of the Board of Ed. All right? General fund, let's see, okay, the next page, page 42, Department 4200, is the, student transportation, I want to share with you,
you're asking for $230,000 more. Athletic transport, extra. So of that, $100,000 so it's 132 is for, that we're gonna get reimbursed on. 'Cause those are the two items, field trips and athletics that we get reimbursed.
Full reimbursement,
In other words,
a full one, or is we're
we get
partial?
full reimbursement for field trips and athletics and transport is my understanding. We run the buses at 31.
Right, that I know.
Yeah, 31. Ken, Mr. Nappy made that extremely clear.
Yeah, he
How he-
presented well, yeah.
He explained it very well.
What are you looking for, John?
I had reservations about this, but I tried to do some thinking. After listening,
Now, talk to the microphone so it goes to the speaker.
okay, after listening, I wish these chairs were on rollers.
Yeah. Let me get you.
God. After listening to, Ken Nappy the other night, last week, and the discussion that went on, and then coming into this, I just want to share with you some, thoughts that I had. trying to figure this thing out. There was a great deal of time was spent at the A&T and Board of Aldermen Joint Budget Workshop last week. It was devoted to examination and understanding of why the city budget does not contain voluminous details regarding the city-run school bus program. And this is that page 42 in your budget. And you'll notice that there are line items. You'll also notice, and you'll also remember. Well, I put this in writing so I could convey it to you as I reasoned it out and thought it out. Some people argued that all other city departments provide their expenses by line item, and since the bus program was a city service, it also should list line item detail with supporting backup information. This is the supporting backup information. We started this program and we decided consciously that we had to meet the 3.15 million commitment. And this is what we decided to put in place. Some pointed out, as a Board of Aldermen of Education bid service, the bottom line cost had been all that the Board of Education had received for years. No one ever knew the specific cost associated with the program, with the bus service program, especially the amount of profit that the private carriers included in the bid, nor did they know any other details of this service. Good, huh? Everybody accepted that. No problem. But when the city takes it over, the city's got to have the full details, full disclosure. Well, no one ever questioned that the bus program bid contract contained a provision for the Board of Education payment to purchase the buses over the 5-year contract, with life ownership of the buses reverting to the private bus company at that time. We get that one clear. The Board of Education went out to bid, got a bid, and the city paid for the buses through the Board of Education. It was right in the contract, 5-year contract. At the end of that contract, we paid through the Board of Education, the city paid for those buses. And those buses belonged to the private carrier, who then took those buses, the whole fleet, and sold them for $2.5 million per 100% profit in his pocket. Nobody ever questioned that. Until Mayor Loretti came along, questioned it. And then everybody had objections. But no one ever questioned the disposition of the 5-year-old buses and why they were taken out of service when they had a minimum useful life of 10 years. The last 10 years, we proved that. All right? We proved it. They last 10 years. You maintain them, they're good. And you don't have to sell them. You don't have to turn them over to a third party. A student bus service is a highly competitive service, overwhelmingly provided by the private sector. As such, each company guards its data and its procedures to maintain a competitive bidding edge. Transporting our most valuable commodity, this service receives exceptional oversight from the Department of Motor Vehicles. Inspections are rampant, driver regulations abound, and unannounced visits are commonplace, all designed to ensure a safe service. Whether it's private or run by the city, same conditions, same provisions apply, same ensuring a safe service. As with its private competitors, the city must guard its proprietary information, lest it be vulnerable when and if the Board of Ed decides to again bid the service. That is one reason why the city budget contains limited data. The city has a 3-year contract with the Board of Ed to provide student transportation services at a fixed cost of $3.15 million. At the time this court-mediated agreement was reached, one bus service bid was received at an annual cost of $4.4 million in the first year, with provisions for subsequent annual increases. Consequently, it is obvious that this arrangement is saving Shelton taxpayers considerable dollars. And given the possibility of a future need for the city to enter competitive bidding for this service, it is important that the complete cost details of this service not be divulged to our competitors, thereby creating a competitive disadvantage for the city. As Mr. Nappi pointed out last week, the city Student Transportation Service has established a cooperative and collaborative working relationship with the Board of Ed and is working to establish technology changes that will improve the student bus service. As he also pointed out, the service issues reported are not unique to Shelton, and a great deal of this inconvenience has been COVID-caused and experienced by private and commercial bus service companies as well as Shelton. While this may be an appropriate budget question, the city-provided school bus service has a limited contract life with much uncertainty as to whether it will be continued. Consequently, the utmost budgetary flexibility has been provided by the Board of Aldermen to allow the administration to organize and operate this program within the contractual financial parameters. And we have done that. We have operated it within, but they have not exceeded the $3.15 million that was committed via mediated contractual agreement at the court. Such budgetary recommendations to provide line item details can be considered when and if the bus program becomes a permanent addition to departmental services provided to the Board of Education by the city. One other observation is that the premise that this is the only department that does not have a line item, that doesn't provide line items, is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong for the third time, because one other department nobody even thinks about: water pollution control. That's a city service. They don't have line items. You've never seen their revenues. You've never seen their expenditures. If truth be known, they're set up probably by state law as a, as a separate entity.
Quasi-city.
Quasi, yeah. I don't know the details. You can check that out. But you can check that out and see what the state law is that sets it up. But it's got to be state law. But I wanted you to know that when we came to this, that's, Anthony, you were taking notes.
Just as an example of the cooperation, our the Board of Education's Finance Director, Richard Belden, in one day determined there were 300 students that were on lists that had not been, shouldn't be there, because as the classes graduate, students will go to St. Joseph's, they'll go to Notre Dame West Haven, and then Notre Dame Fairfield, Sacred Heart, Laurelton Hall. So these people are not on the buses anymore. They're not being taken out of the system. So with that cooperation, I think you're going to see not only less runs next year, more efficient runs, and the new electronic system is going to bring it right up to speed.
Yeah, well, I never heard. Look, the mayor points out, and I believe he points out quite correctly, that that this system has been perpetrated for maybe 10 years and not updated. And okay, we're running the system now. We've come into it, and Ken, to his credit, has established that relationship, good working relationship, and they are working this out. I believe that even the cost of this change will be borne by the mayor, by the city, without discussion. This is a positive and good thing, and
Former boards of education made, decisions not to get rid of bus coordinators and things like that, who were critical to the service running better.
Yeah, the Board of Education has to input the data. The city, then it comes into the bus service. The bus service, as I understand it, and I don't know the details, I'm not party to it, but from what I hear from the periphery, that a driver will get in, if a driver doesn't show up, a substitute driver can get in, the bus, put on his headgear, and it'll tell him what to do, where to go, who's picking up. He's not gonna miss anybody. It's gonna, and the Board of Education, administrative people, to their credit, they see the benefit of this as well as the city. And it's going to happen. They're working on it collaboratively. And the city will pick up the cost.
Like anything else, it takes time to get these coordinations, we're getting it now. Both sides.
So much for the bus system, that budget. The library. The library, COVID has devastated the library.
Horrible.
Unbelievable. Their budget request, and the mayor gave them, is pretty much the same, so I don't have any issues with it. Debt service. You'll notice in debt service that last year debt service was $9,346,000, and for next year they're looking at $7,455,000, so it's a considerable reduction. That didn't happen overnight. That's the result of us correctly managing our money. That's the result of us using our general fund surplus as we said we were going to use it way back when the state was threatening, if you recall, to reduce our ECS money for the Board of Education, because we had a surplus of some $12 million, and the state wanted to take it away from us. And we said, look, collectively, the Board of Aldermen said, look, the wise thing to do, the smart thing to do, is spend it down to around $3 or $4 million, so that the state will not target us to take away and reduce our ECS allocation.
And I think all the aldermen
annually
agreed to that, John.
And,
All the aldermen, it was a unanimous vote to do that.
yeah, well, and we decided to do that consciously, and it was, and it worked out. And here's the benefit of it. You see, in later years, your debt service is dropped.
Which is beneficial to the city, as we all know on the board,
Oh,
but
yeah.
in the community with the,
Yeah,
sentiment
and
towards
if
us
we
shows
did,
otherwise.
if the Board of Ed did not overspend its budget, special ed excess cost, if that didn't happen, which is an audited fact, then we would even be in better shape financially, but at least we're beginning to see the benefits of
Yes.
it in the debt service drop.
The same as if someone, paid a little more on their mortgage every month.
Exactly.
They find themselves in a much better financial.
So if people want to criticize this budget, and they want to criticize it on the basis of nitpicking And, you know, I think that what we got to bring out, that these are good financial decisions that are paying dividends. You know.
If we go back to the beginning of the mayor's, coming to be the mayor, he inherited like a $30 million, problem.
Deficit.
That was the Democrats.
It was $28 or $29 million deficit. And you've never seen that in all the years, the 30 years that we've been in office.
Never.
You've never seen it go back even
Anywhere near close.
anywhere near it.
He actually paid that off, but he paid it off also.
Yep. All right.
And we've eliminated the use of, the bonding attorneys, and we're getting our money even better.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, all the decisions not to bond and to take promissory, you know, the bank notes, it reduced the interest rate considerably, because when you go out to bond, you're going out for bidding bonds. If they bid the bonds, and, you know, you take the lowest bid, but the lowest bids are 4%.
Plus the fees.
And we're paying like in the 1% range interest.
Right.
And we're doing it over 5 years versus a 10-year or 20-year bond interest that just raises all kinds of hell.
And I think too, just to get in the door of some of these big places, it's like $100,000 right off the bat.
Yeah, the $100,000 to have them do.
I've used Standard & Poor's, all these places.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Are we gonna be, doing 4,600 now, John?
Huh?
Yeah.
Are we gonna go on, so if we're looking at 8 o'clock, we're gonna continue?
Are we staying, John?
We can hold.
We have 10 more to go, right?
We can hold things right here, and then the next.
We can get them out of the way, John, there's not that many left.
Anthony.
Let's see.
We'll leave it up to.
We've got the 12th is the public hearing. The 18th is the workshop with the Board of Ed, and I don't know how much time we'll have following that. To maybe put this back on. So maybe we can reschedule the balance and the revenues discussion for the night of the May 18th. The Board of Aldermen will talk to the Board of Education and tell them what we'd like them, what we'd like to do with them.
I know it's getting late, but the remainder ones, they're like,
Because then you have,
they're quick.
the sheet I was looking at is you got the 18th, and then,
Yeah, so we should,
and then I think the 20th. Tuesday's the 18th, and I think there's one on the 20th, John.
No.
There's not?
No.
Okay. I thought there was one on the 20th.
18th.
I don't have it down.
27th.
I wrote down whatever John said today. But, I mean, the next 15 pages are pretty much no real.
All right, well, let's continue on.
Well-
We'll try to wrap it up in 15 minutes or so.
Let's
Municipal property maintenance is,
fast.
they're looking at 1.4.
We didn't look at 40, if you wanna do 46, we didn't do 46. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, we did,
We did 46.
Yep.
We did that already.
Municipal property maintenance, that's 46.
So, 40.
No, utilities
Paid
is,
for.
And just to explain, to anybody who might be listening about
4,600, okay.
4,600 municipal, general fund utilities, one of the largest expenses is hydrants. Fire hydrants cost us by the fire hydrant each year. They're extremely, necessary for fire safety, obviously, people, animals, property, et cetera, but that is our biggest expense there, at 1.4, almost 1.5 million out of the 2.7, so almost half, and more than half. So people should realize that these hydrants are not just bought, installed, and done. They have to be taken care of.
Well, municipal electric, you'll notice that, that used to be $499,000 cost. And, in next year, the department estimated $474,000. So that's roughly $25,000 reduction at a time when energy costs are spiraling out of control. And, that, again, is the result of a multi-year contract at a favorable price that, was locked in. I have to get the book to see what the term is, but it's not important. But it's just another observation of good judgment.
Street lights too. That's down
Yeah,
too.
that was a good,
Street lights, yep, street lights, good, another good observation when we went to the,
LED.
LEDs, and, that's saving money. And I imagine that, the same thing is true on the Board of Ed side for their electricity and their, things like that, so. Municipal property maintenance, 4,800, Department 4,800. He's going up because he's hiring more people.
Right.
And we're doing more work, we're doing more conversions, we're doing more in-house as opposed to outsourcing, and that results in cost savings. I don't have a problem with what you see here. Part-time employees has come down, and the regular full-time employees is going up. It's going up, but not as much as they requested.
No.
All right.
Yep.
Management Information Services, 5,200, that's Dan, right, his department?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very modest, if anything, Grace.
Right. Yep. Nothing.
Look at account 4123039.
That was the, remember, they were gonna upgrade they wanted to do something with the communication. I remember when they talked about it.
Well, I think probably some of that could be, utilized. Some of it might be able to get done. A lot of this is going to get done using, ESSR money, whatever, COVID money that came down from the state.
Is this a typo?
Oh, yeah, you mean
That's
the amount?
gotta be a typo.
What, the 288?
Yeah, because then you see Mayor recommended
Yeah.
120.
Oh, yeah.
Typo.
That's a typo, I bet, yep.
Yeah.
But we should double check.
But
I will. I'll double.
yeah, you know what, but the machine did give it to it on the bottom, it gave it 200,000
More.
on
Yeah.
the bottom, yeah. Definitely did move it, yes,
So
it's
you
gotta
look
be.
at what they requested.
Yeah, it's definitely,
The original budget, and then 64.9 has been expended to date.
yeah.
That's why I'm wondering if that's an error.
Good observation, Eric.
Yeah, it looks like an error,
Good observation. We'll check it out. Assessor. Looks like we're, the big jump here is the,
Professional services.
reevaluation
The
service.
reevaluation's coming through this year, so they're gonna need that.
Yeah.
But he did come before the, Board of
Yes.
A&T, and he made that quite clear.
Yep.
Yeah, almost 400,000, so that's where the increase is.
400,000 in
Yeah.
385.
professional services. and he's got.
I would think that it's money well spent, because I would think that with improvements that have been made that are not seen by sometimes the, inside homes, basements.
Well, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice, it's state mandated, every 5 years.
I realize that.
Tax collector, reduction.
Yeah, it's not,
Not much at all.
it's in the part-time.
And they've done a good job of collection
Yep.
also.
Yeah, well, I
We've
think,
got good taxpayers who made their payments also.
but especially during this past year,
They've been
With hard times, yeah.
I think, where are we at, 98%? It is
Unbelievable.
absolutely incredible.
I
Yeah, but-
commend the citizens of
Right,
Shawton
absolutely,
for knowing their,
absolutely.
That's right, that's where the credit goes, to
Yep.
the taxpayers of the city of
Yeah,
Shelby.
absolutely.
Responsible.
Without
anyone else.
and during a tremendously stressful year for
Yes.
so many people, absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah. People losing their jobs, people
Yeah.
having to stop work to take care of children,
Yep.
et
Exactly.
cetera, yeah. And elderly people,
True.
they now can't go
Right.
out.
Purchasing,
Very
Modest
modest,
increase.
$4,000.
Yeah,
Not worried.
public risk management.
Just a little,
looks like, slight increase there too,
50,000.
yeah.
Trying to see where it is.
It's on the municipal insurance.
Yeah,
Our actual $1.1 million for
it's 35
comp
there.
insurance is very, very reasonable.
I'd have a lot of questions on that, but.
Yeah,
That's
Well, that's not right. Accounting and control,
$19,000 increase.
Yeah, not much at all.
No. Part-time employees.
Yep.
It was all part-time employees, yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
Same, general fund, community development.
Looking at that page.
Again, an extremely slight increase, maybe $900. Yeah, about $950.
The next one, John, is for your community
Miscellaneous.
development. Which one are you on?
I'm ready to go to miscellaneous.
Yep,
To where?
6,100 miscellaneous.
54, page 54. I think there's a slight increase of about 11,000.
Yeah,
And that is,
I'm looking.
Fireworks,
it's a fireworks display.
Fireworks.
We're gonna do 2 this year.
that's right.
Did a fourth
Right.
of the year.
That's right.
And then at the end,
Right.
yes,
And I think the city deserves it. Hopefully this year we get people
Yep.
down on the slab.
Well, if Biden doesn't,
Nothing there to get excited about. Capital spending, nothing there to get excited about. Vehicle equipment, nothing there to get excited about. Outside agency contributions.
$21,000 increase.
yeah, it's, Lake
Council
Authority,
governments is up, yeah.
yeah, Lake Authority, Housatonic Scout, the umbrella,
Regional hospice.
oh, no, yeah, the umbrella. They requested, no.
St. Vincent de Paul increase.
Yep.
Celebrate Shelton.
Yes.
They do an awful lot. It's a very good group.
Celebrate Shelton's going from 4,000 to 7,500?
Well, they do a lot of promotional things. They do the tree lighting downtown. They do events all summer down on the Riverwalk.
That's true.
They really have emerged as a real promotion for
The community.
Yeah.
Which one are you talking, sorry, I didn't.
Celebrate Shelton.
Celebrate Shelton.
Yes, excellent job.
They've done an excellent job. I've worked with them in the past on things.
So now, this Sinzaba Heights, they paid $40,000. They didn't have anything in their budget. Who's paying for that? This
Well,
year?
it's city run.
No,
I don't know who it is.
No, that's,
That's a senior citizen.
That's what I
Yeah.
figured it was, but
Yeah.
City Run, I wasn't aware of that. I
Sinzaba
don't remember it.
We put in a roof on them.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Sinzaba Heights, if you recall,
I don't.
questioned this before. It was a loan that the city gave them, that's what.
A
that
loan?
was.
Oh,
Loan,
okay.
and they paid
That
it
makes
back.
sense then. That's
And they paid
different.
it back.
Got
It
it.
had to be carried in the budget,
Mm,
that's why you see it there.
thank you.
Yeah, they needed an advance, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
They get their money, and transferred other funds, nothing there. Board of Aldermen, contingency. Okay, that, you know,
Got him.
it is, it is.
Thank you, everybody. That's good that you did that
Yeah, I think.
at this point.
John, is that,
So the only thing we've got to do, it's very important to do, is the revenue.
Right.
And I don't think, I think we, need a little guidance on that. We may, have to either have Paul or the mayor here.
what day are we doing that?
Well, we can do it on the 18th.
That and then the other workshop, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is what I'm interested in looking at from the Board of Ed. Board of Ed made a presentation to the aldermen and to A&T already in joint session. And what I'm interested in having them come back to do is to talk about three things.
We're
Talk
still
about
on the air.
the technology of, audit, and their use of the technology, the money, the ESSR2 money that they received when they spent a lot. I want them to talk about the details of that, and they've got a handout on that. And then there was a third thing, and I can't remember off the top of my head what that third thing was, but, I'll just look and search. That's probably,
Thank you.
oh yeah, an update on the school construction reimbursements and what we can
Oh,
expect
okay.
in
Okay, yeah.
revenues and that.
Just those three things. And they're gonna know that when they get here, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to the superintendent about it, you know, just tell him that's what we want, that's what we want to talk about. That's what we wanna do. I
Is
don't-
this your copy, John? That's your copy, right? You didn't give them to us?
what is it?
School bus, I could have it, thanks.
Anthony doesn't have, I don't have an extra, I didn't make enough copies.
Pardon me?
You don't have a copy of that school stuff.
Oh, thank you very
No,
much.
but-
Oh, no, I don't need it, I don't need it.
But, you know, I'll make a copy and give it to you.
Then I'm not worried about it.
So
Okay.
that's what I'd like to do, and I will talk to the superintendent and tell him, I already, when I met with him, that's what I said, that I met with him and Carl, and they went through it with me, and I said to him, this, we've got to go through with this with the board, with the full board involvement. I think it's very, very important information. They did a great job on it. And I think we should understand what they did, you know, and let them come and explain it to all of us.
Well, one of the reasons we chose persons like, Carl to be on the board is because of his expertise. That and others who have those technology
Yeah,
information
the
that they
background.
can give to the board.
So, all right, so there being nothing further for this workshop, the motion would be in order to,
So moved.
Second.
adjourn. You moved?
Yeah,
Is there a second?
yeah.
Yes, second.
Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered unanimously. Meeting is adjourned at 8:24 PM.
Don't take off on me.
Thank you.
Jose has to do the,
Button,
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
phone button,
yeah.
Let's see here.
phone button.
He'll take care of it.